Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So today's video is super interesting because this is a video that you can speak with your friends, take their advice, take advice of your parents, grandparents, discuss it with your brother and sister. So it's a super interesting video, super insightful video. I will present a data-driven viewpoint on whether you should be buying a house or renting a house in 2022. Very important video because many of you might be considering purchasing a house, or you might feel that okay, interest rates are low. Should I go and buy a house? If my EMI is equal to my rent, should I be going and buying a house? These are very valid questions to which I am going to give a data driven answer. A few very important disclaimers. Point number one, I am going to talk about house. More importantly, a residential house as an investment, not an emotional decision. If you are purchasing a house from an emotional viewpoint that, okay, my kids are going to grow up there, I just want to own my house because it gives me a very happy feeling, then I can't factor those things. But if you're purchasing house as an investment, this video is super critical for you. Point number two, I'm going to present a lot of data, lot of national level data, because it's impossible for me to aggregate local level data that my chachaji bought some house in some village and now it went on to become from 5 lakh rupee to 500,000 crore, and now he's even giving a fight to Adani. Now I don't have data to those type of exceptional stories, but I will present a meta study on this, so please consider it from that viewpoint. Third and finally, this is not a personal attack or a personal argument with anyone. If you like purchasing a house, please go and buy a house, no problem there. Just hear my side of the story too. It is data driven. Because buying a house is such a big decision, you must listen to everyone's side and then reach your own conclusion. So with that said, let us get the video started, and also a very quick shout out to our sponsors for today, which is FinBingo. FinBingo is a product by taxbuddy.com. FinBingo is a robo advisory firm. It helps you with a 360-degree financial planning. For example, if you're looking to purchase ELSS based schemes because they help you save taxes, you can go on FinBingo's app, you can purchase it on a commission free basis, absolutely free. Link is in the description box, and FinBingo will also help you track your investment. So it's a wonderful product from that particular viewpoint. So let us get the story started. So 6 simple points that we are going to speak about. Point number one, if my EMI is equal to house rent, then should I be purchasing a house or not, because I'm anyways paying money in terms of rent. So let us understand this argument mathematically. So here are some sample numbers. So let's imagine that your EMI is 20,000 rupee per month on a house that you're looking to purchase. And if you're currently paying anyways 20,000 rupee as rent, so should you be buying that house from that logic? Let us do a very quick analysis. So in Delhi right now, because I have to pick some market, so I'm picking Delhi. You can adjust it as per wherever you are living. So in Delhi right now, what's happening is that for every 1 crore worth your property is, you pay a rent of 20,000 rupees. This is the normal math. You can go and check it also. Few years ago, for every 1 crore worth of property, you used to pay 25,000 rent. So this rental yield over time has come down, and you can go and verify this. And there will be a lot of people who will be commenting, and they will hopefully verify this fact also. So in case you are living in a 2 crore house in Delhi NCR, then how much rent you will have to pay? 40,000. So let us work with this computation of 20,000 rent on 1 crore. So in 1 year, what is the total rent that you will be paying? You will be paying 2.4 lakhs on a 1 crore house. So what is the rental yield that you are getting? That you buy a house, you put it on rent. So you are making 2.4% yearly return on that 1 crore property. If you just simply go and execute the simplest investment option, which is to do a fixed deposit, how much yield do you make? You make 6% yield, but you will say that, okay, Akshat, the house which I have purchased, it will go up in value also. So that concept is called as asset appreciation. So what asset appreciation of your house should happen every year to even beat a fixed deposit? It should be 3.6%. Why? Because 2.4 plus 3.6 is equal to 6%. Now I know a lot of people will say the following arguments that, okay, Akshat, that rent every year goes up by 10%, but the EMI stays the same. Plus there are taxation benefits and a host of other different things. Yes, you're talking about all the pros of buying a house, but there are cons also. For example, you will have to make a down payment of 20%. You will have to take care of brokerage, both at the time of buying and selling the house. You will have to pay property tax. So we are ignoring these points. And also the moral of the story here is that here we are comparing it to fixed deposit, which is the absolute simplest way you can go and invest your money. That is the absolute basic instrument to which I am comparing the purchase of a house. So at least the property value that you have purchased should go up by 3.6% to even meet the FD returns. Which brings us to this very interesting piece of data through RBI. A lot of people question this data. This comes directly from Reserve Bank of India, which talks about the movement of housing price index. So the yield or the growth growth of housing price was roughly around 25-26% back in 2012. Now this yield has come down to how much? 2 to 3%. So it is not even beating FD as of now in 2022. Now your question would be that, okay, fine, right now the yield is not that great. It is roughly between 2 to 3%, but going forward this yield will increase again to like 15-20%. So why should I not purchase the house right now? Okay, very good question. This brings us to point number 2. Now again, I will point you to this particular chart. This is just a rehashed version. Word of the day today is rehashed. Let me know what does that mean. So this is just a rehashed version of the data that I just showed you. It points to a very important fact that the return from investing in real estate what front loaded during the last decade. So in the last decade, the growth happened very, very fast. This decade, unfortunately, the growth has come down quite aggressively. So it has gone down here, and commodity cycles tend to be very long. So if you are trying to make a decision whether to purchase a house in 2022, the answer seems like a no, because in order for this yield to come back to, let's say, 5%, 6%, 7%, it might take a lot of time and you might end up losing a decade's worth of growth at least. Also, a very important message here. Some of you would comment that, you know what, my Chacha ji who bought a land in Gurgaon somewhere, he's beating Gautam Adani and Virat Kohli and Mukesh Ambani in terms of aggregating wealth by purchasing real estate. He might have done it during this phase in time and it might have made sense for him because the growth rate of your property went higher. So he must have purchased it at a lower amount. It went very high in the last decade, but right now that's not the scene. This growth is just not happening as of now. 2.8% growth is really, really bad. Now you might say, okay, Akshat, the real estate is not giving that great a return as of now, and maybe it's not a great idea to buy right now. But can you give us more data by how much are the housing prices more in India compared to other parts of the world? So this brings us to a simple concept of price to income ratio. What it simply means is that let's imagine that the price to income ratio is 12. If you're buying a 12 lakh house, then your yearly income is roughly 1 lakh. So you work for how many years? You work for 12 years to purchase this particular piece of asset. Now let's take a look at the PI ratio or price to income ratio for India, how it has changed over the years. So in 2009, the PI ratio was 7.69. It went up to 9.82. Now it is standing at roughly 11.5. So basically in 2009, if you were purchasing a house, you just had to spend 7.5 years of your income to purchase a unit of property. But now it has climbed up to 11.38. So the property prices have already appreciated quite a lot. Now, second point is that you might say that, you know what, 11.38, it doesn't look too bad. I only have to work for 12 years to purchase a house. What's the big deal? I will work for like 12 years. So compare it to other parts of the world. In US, to purchase an average unit of property, you only need to work 3.5 years. In UAE, Qatar, South Africa, again, the numbers are much, much lower. So what does this indicate? In simple words, it indicates the housing prices in India right now are super, super inflated. So this brings us to the fourth point that right now, Akshat, there is like so much crisis happening that the interest rates are also low and government is pushing people to spend more money and housing loans are also very low. So since housing loans are low, let me just go and buy the property now because I don't know whether I'll be getting such an opportunity in the future or not. So point number one is that interest rates are low. Now, why are the interest rates low? Because the government wants you to spend more money. Not necessarily on housing, they just generally want you to spend. So even your business loans are low, even your education loan might be low, even your consumer loans might go low, even your FD returns might go low. And similarly, they have cut the housing loan prices also. So there is no such magic that is happening only with housing. It's just that the interest rates are low. So therefore, the housing loan interests are also low. Now, it is like saying this, that you go to a mall and everything is on a discount. Now, that does not mean that you should be going and buying everything. You should only buy some asset when it has a certain use, if it has future potential. Just because you are getting a stock at a discount or a t-shirt at a discount, you should not just simply go and buy it. The quality might be really bad and you might not even make money from that investment. As I showed you from the previous section, the housing prices in India are super inflated. What you're doing by buying a house right now is super simple. You're just simply going and investing in an overinflated asset just because you are getting the convenience of buying that house. So that is the reality. Just because interest rates are low does not mean that you should be going and purchasing a house. It doesn't make any sense. Again, from an investment point of view. Now comes the fifth and the most important point, which is around portfolio diversification. Now, this is such a simple concept and people keep on arguing about buying a house, this, that. Please tell me a very simple answer. I will show you two types of portfolio. This is portfolio 1, this is portfolio 2. Now portfolio 1 has, let's say, 25% stocks. It has 25% bonds. It has 25% other commodities, including, let's say, cryptos also. And it has maybe 25% real estate. Do you like this portfolio more, or do you like this portfolio more where 100% of your money is tied into real estate? Tell me which asset is risky. Here, many people give an argument that, you know what, real estate prices grow like crazy. No, they are not growing, at least as of now. Also, the risk profile in real estate investing is very, very high if you are designing a portfolio like this. So a lot of people reach out to me. They say that Akshat, I'm 25, 26. I'm making a salary of 1 lakh rupee a month and I have invested 5 lakh rupee in the stock market. Should I take a 2 crore EMI on my house? The answer is absolutely not. You will essentially fall in this category where 5% of your money is tied into equity portfolio and rest 95% of house which you don't even own, for which you will be paying your future EMI also, gets tied into real estate. And this is a portfolio that you might end up having once your EMI is completely paid off, because till the time your EMI is not completely paid off, your bank technically owns your house. You are much better off investing that 1 lakh rupee salary into diversifying your portfolio first. Once you have 10 crore rupees, and then if you go and buy that 2 crore house, it still makes sense because your portfolio looks like this. People miss this basic point. What ends up happening with such a risky concentrated portfolio is that if the housing market does not recover from this point, it keeps on giving you only 2-3% return for another 10 years. You will not see any growth on your wealth. On top of that, there are range of issues. For example, you buy a house, you rent it to someone, they don't vacate it. They are neither paying you rent. What will you do? You will say, I'll go to court. Okay, go. Good luck fighting cases in India. I'm giving you a very practical viewpoint. Please think about it. And if it still makes sense for you, go and invest your hard-earned money in it. Now comes the sixth and the final point, which is what if arguments. So what if arguments are that, Akshat, if I'm renting a place and if my landlord kicks me at night, I'll be out on the house. This is a what if scenario. Okay, I can give you a counter what if scenario. If you buy a house at 2 crore by taking EMI and if you don't get a possession, what are you going to do? If the builder cheats you with poor concrete in your house, what are you going to do? If someone creates a kuda ghar near your house, what are you going to do? If the pollution in your city where you have purchased a house, it goes up, what are you going to do? If you do not get any water in certain area where you have purchased a house, what are you going to do? Ask people who live in South Delhi. There is severe water shortage there. So the point is that this what if debate can be turned both from a pro side and a con side. So it will not help you reach any concrete decision. So what is my stand and what is my personal situation like? So of course my parents own a house purchased at a very, very good price. So it's okay for them to hold it. I do not live with them since I work remotely. From time to time, I can go and live with them from an extensive basis because I work remotely. But on the flip side, I also have a rented place. I pay rent and I've been living on rent. Have my parents pressured me to buy a house? Yes. Have I said no to it? Yes. Have I showed them the same data? Yes. Can I afford to buy a house? Touch wood, I can afford to buy a house. I don't even need a loan. But will I be buying a house? The answer is no, absolutely not. I will in fact buy a house at some stage in case I decide, when this yield that I had showed you, again the graph for you here, when that yield starts recovering, that would be the time to buy a house. Also, there are tax consideration at play, which I have not covered on this video. So you can go and speak with people from Tax Buddy and FinBingo regarding the tax situation on housing. But please don't go by taxation and other basic things if your primary asset itself is not giving returns. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please press the like button and I will see you tomorrow.